When we did our first project, we didn't have no money. I remember me and my partner, we had to work 3 extra jobs in order for us to raise some funds. As human beings, I think we tend to believe so much in money that we forget to actually focus more on our dream. Make sure you touch somebody's life, not with money, even a word of encouragement, even just a simple hug goes a long way. It doesn't have to be money.
We Drive It podcast, the journey of the young CEOs with Glory Jolly. Welcome to another episode of We Drive It podcast. This is whereby we drive into the journeys of young CEOs, shaping their unique ideas, experiences, and success stories to inspire you. I'm your host, Glory Jory, and today we are having a very special guest joining us all the way from USA. He's a founder of Endless Love Foundation, a non-profit organization making significant impact on the lives of children in Kenya, Zimbabwe, and some more places. Please welcome Clinton Omondi. You're most welcome, Clinton.
Hello, Jolie. How are you?
I'm fine. You give me vibe because here in Uganda, it's early morning, and your side, I think it's night.
Yes, it's 9:29 p.m. In Washington, D.C. right now. So I'm so excited to actually connect with you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Clinton. I want to know a little bit, Clinton, outside of being a founder of Endless Love.
I grew up in a small village in western province of Kenya, called Kakamega. And, yes, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Kakamega County. It's kind of like the western province. Yeah, it's a western province. So, yeah, I grew up in western province. And I remember, like, growing up, life was, everybody always has, like, a different background, where I come from. Life wasn't easy for everyone, but I was privileged enough to grow up around people with both people poverty level and people experiencing middle class and rich people and kind of like poor people. I was in the middle class, but I had majority of my friends were from the poor class. The reason why I like to interact with them because I felt like life is not all about like rich, or it's not all about having wealth. It's all about just caring for, and for me, I enjoyed the fact that no matter where I was from, I had the opportunity to actually interact with the poor people, the rich people, and just to get an idea of how the day-to-day activities looks like.
So in your foundation, Endless Love, you have such powerful mission. Before we drive into the journey as a young CEO, can you tell us a bit about what inspired you to start Endless Love Foundation?
Thank you so much once again for having me. The journey, I wouldn't say the journey was, it wasn't an easy one. And, I got to experience poverty level, my family we didn't have anything laid to us on a silver plate. My mother used to be the matron. She used to take care of the younger kids at the orphanage, and growing up and just being able to see those kids, seeing my mom showing them so much love. She used to go to the streets, collect these kids and bring them to the orphanage, and she would take care of those kids as their own, and for me, that really inspired me, and I used to look at her and I get so empowered, and I'm like, Mom, how do you have so much courage? How do you have so much energy? Where do you get all this energy to be able to take care of those kids who are not even your own and treat them as your own? For me, I used to call them my brothers. I used to call them my sisters. Growing up, having them around me, it made me feel like, oh my goodness, I'm so privileged. I'm so blessed to have a big family like this. But before I moved to the United States, I remember it was I was in high school. I was in Form 1. In Kenya, we call it Form 1. So when I hit a Form 1. So I was fresh out of primary school going into, and growing up, I always saw planes flying in the skies, and I always say to my friends, say to my brothers, my cousins, one day we'll be able to be on the plane, and one day we'll be able to be on that plane and travel into a different country, and me prophesizing that I was a kid, I was like, people will wonder, so what are you saying? But sometimes what they say, there's power in the tongue, manifest.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
true.
yes, if you manifest into something bright, if you want to be rich, if you want to be able to have everything that you want in your life, you have to speak it into existence. And being young, I didn't know what that meant. I was just saying for the sake. Why I started Endless Love Foundation, I had a dream. And I remember sometimes I would try to fall asleep. I wouldn't fall asleep. I could hear voices of children crying, voices of kids crying. And at the background, I could see poverty. I could see the orphans, and why I started about my mom being in the orphanage, I feel like there was that connection. I felt like God blessed me with so much, just me being out of Kenya and traveling to the United States. I wouldn't say if it wasn't for God and for his good willing to enable me to be here, I don't think I would have made it this far. When I left Kenya, the people at the orphanage, they were happy, they were excited that we are living, but at the same time, the relationship that we created, bonding that we created, that was something that I didn't want to leave behind. It was such a painful pill to take, just because you are leaving these people that you've created so much relationship, so much bondage with them, and now you're leaving them behind, not knowing when you're gonna be able to see them again. So every day I'm really thankful just for him, for showing me mercy and for always loving me endlessly. I kept on dreaming, but at the same time I was like, maybe I'm just too tired, or maybe I'm just exaggerating. It wasn't the first time. It happened occasionally. I tried to put myself in the Jonah story. When Jonah was chosen to go preach at Nineveh, sometimes we wonder, God, like, why me? I'm not equipped enough. There's other people out there, why me? I can't even speak proper English. Why me? But God, what God does, he uses people who have no courage.
That's true. That's true.
Uses the people who don't see the bright future in them. And the reason why he does that, he wants to do that. When he blesses you, you can go back to it and say, I can't believe that was me. Why I'm bringing that is God kept on bringing these dreams in my head. God, I don't know what you're trying to communicate with me, but I don't think this is where I belong. I don't have enough finances. I look at myself, I haven't made it to the point that I'll be able to support Endless Love Foundation. But there's a verse in the Bible that says, if God brings you to it, he'll take you through it. These finances is God. God is the one that he blesses us with all these finances. So if he brings you to this journey, he'll take you, he's going to have your back. As human beings, I think we tend to believe so much in money that we forget to focus more on our dreams. Just because we don't have the money does not mean we cannot get to where we want to be. If you lay the foundation, everything else is gonna come up natural. And it came to a point that I didn't have no finances.
What you're saying, it's really true. And when you check line now, what is happening, especially to young people, they have dreams. Every young person, if you come across them and ask them, do you have a dream? Someone will tell you, yes, I do have a dream. Then when you ask them, what have you done so far to achieve that dream? Most of them will end up telling you, no finance. I need enough money. I need money, And what you're telling me now, I think a young person who is listening this podcast, that you need to believe in God, focus on that dream, it will happen. And another thing, a dream is not that you need to have money immediately. Money will come later. Just do what you can to achieve that a dream. Yeah.
At the youth of this generation, I feel like we're in a point that we're putting all of our trust in finances more than on our creator. Without God, we as human beings, we're nothing. Whenever I speak about Endless Love Foundation in different organizations around the US, they ask me, most of them are Americans. They look at me, they say, does it rain in Kenya? You guys have meat in Kenya. But what I try to tell them is, what you see on TV about Africa, that's not the reality. You have to be there to experience what Kenya looks like, what Africa looks like, full of resources.
Yeah, that's really true. I think I'm bringing this angle to change the African narrative. Especially these Europe countries, they see negative things about Africa. And as who are African already in their spaces, in their countries, we need to change this. I think changing narrative of our continent, Africa, begin with us, within us. thing. I like that what you're doing. It's really powerful.
I don't like to hide my background because I know I came from poverty, and I like to use that to tell them that if I made it out of that place, then you also can make it out.
Yeah, wow.
But you have to have one thing is faith.
Yeah, that's really true. Getting to know a lot behind Endless Love Foundation. The moment you start this foundation, which year did you start and how did you start it? Like, how was it? Like, okay, you didn't have some money, but what are the process? What are the things you started to do? And up now it has become a big foundation going to different countries.
The process was surrounding myself with people with the same mindset as mine. When I started Endless Love Foundation, I met with one of my business partner. His name is Kuda Murasiranwa. He's from Zimbabwe.
Oh, that's a name.
It's a native from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And what happened is this is God, And what I said by when God say if He brings you to it, He'll take you through it. It's that He bring people with the same mentality as yours.
Yeah, that's
Kuda came to me. I used to run track and field. We met at the same university, and we were the only Black people in that school. Oh, you look like you're from Kenya. And I look at him and I say, you look like you're from Zimbabwe. We clicked right, and we shared stories, how we grew up with no food, no water. Sometimes you have to go to the rivers, Mutoni, kuchota maji.
Ndio.
Saa zingine unatembea kwa muda mrefu kuenda kuchota maji because you do not have a source of water next to you, clean water. Sometimes you have to fight with other villagers in order to get water. Kuda shared the same story. And Joel, why am I bringing this? I'm bringing this. He goes to me and he says, I've actually been thinking of helping the people in my community, but I don't know how to start. And I told him the same thing. I've been having these dreams. I don't know where to start. We were like magnets.
Wow, magnet.
And we said, okay, what should we do from here? Where should we go from here? We have the resources. We live in the US. He lives in Canada. He's a native from Zimbabwe. I'm native from Kenya. We have the resources. We have the connection. We have the people. We have to reach out. So we reach out to different people. And eventually, God started bringing in people, sponsors, willing to support us financially. But they said, we have school staff that we want to send to Africa. We don't know how to, but God just directed me to you. I didn't know this person.
Okay.
And so Endless Love Foundation is just beyond the youth. Endless Love Foundation is for the people, those in need, those who want to just volunteer their services because they also just want to be able to help these kids. I have a team of 15 people in Kenya.
Wow, that's a big
number.
And
I wouldn't say this foundation will be where it will be without the Kenyan team, without the Zimbabwean team. They put so much work in Kenya, and I have to give them a shout out because if it wasn't for God to bring these people into my life, Endless Love Foundation will not be Endless Love without them.
Wow. That's really incredible. And to have a big number. So that's really inspiring for all the beginning of the journey of Endless Love, but also including Clinton. I'm trying to connect these dots. Clinton Omondi, where he came from, it brought Endless Love. That's really amazing and inspiring. So Clinton, starting a non-profile is not a small feat, especially at the young age. Can you walk with us through the early days of the foundation now?
When I started Endless Love Foundation, I was in a class. And this class, we had a project that we had to do. And the teacher, I want you guys to do any project that you think will make a difference in the community. And Endless Love Foundation hit my head, And I gave the presentation in class and I gave the vision. And I talked to them and I told them, I am from this country and I am in this country. And it wasn't easy. Looking back at where I came from and looking at where I am right now, if it wasn't for Endless Love that I received from the people of Kenya, the people of Africa, I wouldn't be here. So Endless Love Foundation started as a home for the homeless, the home for the fatherless, the motherless, just a home for those people who feel that they just want to be somewhere that they can experience love. Those are some of the stages why I wanted to create Endless Love Foundation. I wanted to create an environment that can bring love to the world. As the CEO and founder of Endless Love Foundation, I'm passionate about giving everyone choices and resources to meet their goals. Currently in Kenya, Zimbabwe, and hopefully we're thinking of extending our arms to Uganda and the neighboring countries in Africa.
Leave of Kenya. Now we bring in Zimbabwe. Maybe how many people do you have so far?
In Zimbabwe, we have a youth of 15 as well.
Okay.
Most of them are from poverty. We wanted to give them a platform where they could share a story about themselves. When I recruited them, I asked them one question. What do you want to do for Endless Love Foundation? What do you want to be? Why do you want to be a part of Endless Love Foundation?
How do you work with your people, either from Kenya to Zimbabwe? Because now you're far. So how do you connect with them and things to go according to the mission, the vision you have of the foundation?
But we are really advanced that we have social media, we have technology, we have Zoom, we have Microsoft Teams, Meet. So how I do hold the meetings is through Zoom or Teams. And we do hold the meetings every weekend. And so we connect with the teams from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from Alaska, and also from, I think I already said Zimbabwe. The challenging part is, as we know, is internet. The connection is the hard part. But God has been really faithful because He's always provided finances.
Okay, that's really great.
And He's always provided ways for us to communicate.
So now I bring back to you, what are some of the challenges you're facing and how do you overcome them? Because challenges are always there. And some other young people, you say, I can't do this, challenges are too much, I've dropped it out, I can't do it anymore. So you face challenge also. How do you overcome them?
You know, some of the challenges that I've experienced is, apart from a marketing manager, I also manage a group of 30 people that are under me. And so being able to manage that and also being able to run Endless Love Foundation, it can be a little bit overwhelming. But I always try to have this one concept in my mind that says that if you started this and you live it right now, why would you start something and then don't pursue it? Why would you start a podcast and then leave it to die? So, you know, it's just one of those things that's like, it gives you like a motivation. What is your why? And I can't do that without my team, the team behind me.
Yeah, that's true. Team. It's something which give us courage, give us power to continue to do whatever we're doing. That's really amazing, Clinton. I think what I've picked from you is that no matter what challenge are there in your life, find a way to overcome those challenges. And also, even if you have a ways, try to use the best as you can those ways to overcome those challenges and continue. As we continue with the journey, guys, it's really inspiring. It's really amazing journey, me and Clinton here. As I've listened this journey of Clinton, it's like it have determination and community engagement where is the key. Now, let's talk about some of the success you have had. You can share with us a story that highlights the impact of Endless Love Foundation children's life.
Yeah, where do I even start from? I have a lot of what I mean by success is the team, you know, just being able to have the team behind me, support me. Behind every successful organization, there is a team.
Yeah, that's true.
A tree cannot stand on its own without the roots. And so the reason behind the success of Endless Love Foundation is the team. When we did our first project, we didn't have no money. I remember me and my partner, we had to work 3 extra jobs in order for us to raise some funds to run our first project because we didn't have no finances, we didn't have no sponsors. We did know that we have a dream, we have a vision. And if we don't live this dream for ourselves, nobody else will live this dream for us. And I will tell you what.
Okay,
it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, but the outcome, the smiles, just seeing them smile made me realize that it's not all about finances. I saw them smile, I saw them happy, and that made me happy where I was. And it also motivated me to even work extra harder in order to provide for the next project. And so projects, and we ended up doing a lot of projects.
Back to you, Clinton. In Endless Love, you're doing a lot atop the life of a child, which is really amazing. But also these children in their life of a poverty, they don't know where to get food. All those situations they are passing through, these children. In another angle, it affects their mental health. So
exactly.
How do you do it? Do you have a way out of helping them also in terms of mental health, or you are planning to do that? So how do you do it to help these children?
My mental health is a big thing. I believe that every time we go to these foundations, organizations, and have the team network with these kids, talk to them, have talent shows, just listen to, give them a ear, a platform to talk to, because some of these kids, they don't have anybody to share their stories with. And every time that you go visit these kids, they're always excited to see new faces, especially if they know that you're there for a good reason. You go there with gifts, but gifts is not everything. That's not what they're happy for. Obviously, they're happy to see gifts, but they're also just happy to see a different face that they haven't seen. I tell my team, every organization, every facility that you go to, make sure you leave a mark.
Yeah.
And what I mean is like, make sure you touch somebody's life. Not with money, just even a word of encouragement. Even just a simple hug goes a long way. It doesn't have to be money.
Hey, I'm kind of speechless, guys, but that is Endless Love Foundation. What are your goals of the Endless Love Foundation in the next few years,
The goals are big. And I tell my team, you dream big or you go home.
You're too tough now.
No, I don't. I tell them all the time. I say this because if we don't think big, then Endless Love Foundation won't be big. If you get to a certain level, you have to grow. You can't stay in that level just because you're a millionaire. You have to be a billionaire. You have to be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Where we are right now is not where we want to be. And I know God is going to make this happen for us. And the goal is to build a sports complex. This sports complex is going to be the home for these kids. The goal is to build a sports complex that could be able to hold at least 100 plus kids. And in this sports complex, we are going to bring mentors. We're going to bring professional athletes from different parts of the country, different parts of the world that we know.
Those are really ambitious goals you have had and admire goals from Clinton. So Clinton, for our listeners who are inspired by your story and you want them to be involved in kind of support.
So Endless Love Foundation is our Instagram. We have Endless Love Facebook and LinkedIn. And we also have our website where you could go and just get to meet the team and just learn a little bit about our visions and our missions and why we started Endless Love Foundation. Our website is going to be endlesslovefoundation.org.
I've looked at it and it's a great work you're doing out there. And I was like, oh, it's a good job there. It's really good. Yeah, and you have a great team, by the way. Well done. Before we close, maybe you have a word for young people out there and who want to reach, to own their own thing, to be a founder, co-founder, or a team lead, or an innovator. Any word for them?
I would say follow your dreams and believe in yourself. Don't let people determine your destination. You know yourself. You know what you want for yourself. Make sure you know what your why is. Why are you doing it? Who are you doing it? That's it.
Short and clear, but really smart. What I can say, it's fantastic. Well, Clinton, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you in the podcast, and your dedication and passion for making a difference are truly inspiring. Thank you for sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm really grateful. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Wow, guys, I think these were I stop my journey, me and Clinton here. I believe to our listeners, you have enjoyed this conversation and you have learned a lot. Thank you for listening this episode of We Drive It podcast. And if you have enjoyed this episode, please follow us in MCI Radio app for Android people. But for iPhone and other users, please follow us in Spotify for podcaster, my personal space, AfriPod, with the name We Drive It podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or follow and like and download so that you can listen to this episode and the previous episode. Until next time, keep driving forward and making a difference in the world. Bye.